you and I were part of signing Christine Sinclair. And so I feel like we've joined them through their entire journey. And, maybe we played a bit of a piece in their winning, but it's phenomenal what they've done.
It's so interesting that you mentioned Christine Sinclair. When she was so frustrated after their collapse in 2000, I'm going to get it wrong, 10 or 8, when they were supposed to do better and they collapsed. And she was driving, I think, oddly enough, from Buffalo to Portland to play for the Thorns. And she called every single member on the national team to talk about what they needed to do at their professional clubs, what they needed to do in between major international domestic competitions. That woman is the GOAT of soccer, period.
Race walking looks funny. Katie doesn't care. Neither does Evan Dunphy, Team Canada race walker.
Hi.
This guy doesn't care either. He's behind Evan all the way. Join us, Canada. Tag us in your race walking video for a shot of free KT.
Podium position now. Jonathan Hilbert looks to have wrapped up the silver. Ken Dunphy, the Canadian, hang on to a podium finish. He's left her behind him, just meters towards the...
You don't know how much I would pay to see you do that. Can I get a little race walking out of VT?
I'll send you a video. I have me doing it I was doing a walk for a cause the other year, and I was actually doing that. I can show it to you.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, you know what? I have a really soft spot for him, and I didn't know about Evan before I saw that spot. And it's one of my favorites because it's very creative, it's very different, and it actually brings a conversation of, can the brand help bring up the athlete in the sport, or does the athlete help bring up the brand?
So Vanessa, before you saw that ad, in 2 or 3 words, how would you describe to me the Canon brand? Boring, old, innovative?
Not really, just there.
And after that ad?
Oh, it's the framework of capturing life and capturing moments.
I think what was brilliant was their twist on a picture says 1,000 words, right? Which is an image is 1,000 dreams. So I loved it. I thought that spot did a lot for their brand.
There is an easier way to support our athletes. Just play the National Lottery. When you play a little, you help our athletes a lot.
दुनिया रुक गई. लोगों ने पूछा इससे क्या होगा?
And what are your thoughts? You've got a lottery, a steel company, and a global cosmetics brand.
All of them, except for the lottery. I'll talk about the lottery in a minute.
Okay.
Very similar tone and manner of, focus, hard work, let's go, let's get it, screaming. Right. The one different one was the lottery one, and I thought it was really interesting.
I love what SK2's done, this whole Versus campaign. Their CEO is a gentleman by the name of Sandeep Seth, and I think you would love to work for him. Not that you don't want to work for Don Mayo, because he's a visionary and a marketer, and I think when you take a brand and interesting, going with anime, because you could really alienate a certain group of people. So I think the anime is an interesting twist. And I'm just going to throw it over to you for a second, Vanessa, because I know this is kind of near and dear to your heart. You see Simone Biles, you see Osaka, you see Suni Lee, and give me your thoughts. You talked earlier about Sky Brown and the pressures.
Yeah, I think that what I love about athletes now is that they're very real. And I know you hate the word authentic, so I'm not going to say it. But,
Feels good.
But they are very real. And the fact is that our next generation, they need these people to look up to. And we've always looked up to people who are successful, or we think are successful, and we just think that they've got it all covered. But the fact of the matter is everybody's human. Yeah, I think, I just want to get to a place where it actually, it doesn't matter what your sexuality is. to be perfectly honest. But we do need the examples to help people feel more comfortable with the new world. And this is our world. This is being human. And so I think it's great that she talks out about it as well. I think it's really important right now. But again, let's get to a place where we don't have to do that often.
Hey, Lindsay, how are you?
Hey, Mark. I'm great. Thanks. How are you doing?
Good. I've been away from Bourbon Street so long that I've run the first beard of my life. I think it's been 2 years since I've been on.
I see that. It's like summer mark. Summer mark is out.
I don't know. It's more autumn mark, or you can just call me Autumn if you want.
You couldn't name a price. You couldn't buy me up. Don't need to read my mind. What are you crying for? What are you crying for? Oh, Rose, hey, will lead me back to you. Oh, Rose, will lead me back to you.
So you and I are going to talk a little bit about kind of the Canadian return to events. And did you know anybody who went down and saw the Arkells, or did you go yourself?
I didn't go myself. I would have loved to.
You know, if we think about culture and society, and I'm not just talking about the fact that our business has a lot to do with sponsorship experiential. How do you feel about these different things? So we're now returning to music, we're returning to events. How do you think that's going to impact the way people feel as we go forward?
I think it's really interesting. And I think the answer to that is it depends on what region we're talking.
Right.
We're seeing a total different landscape south of the border from us. So it's really interesting. I think Canadians as a whole, we're starving for live events again. We can't wait to get out there. You see the footage of the crowd and 3 shows. I mean, that says something. But then, you know, you're seeing what's happening in the US. So you're going to see a real dichotomy of you know, what people's comfort levels are and what their willingness is to participate.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, another property that's coming back literally tonight is Cavendish Beach Music Festival. Have you ever been to Cavendish by any chance?
I haven't, but after seeing this, I want to. So I was actually going to propose a staff field trip in July of 2022.
It's run by Whitecap Entertainment. They're an incredible business. They own bars, restaurants, they do concerts all over. But, you know, Gord Bamford and Tim Hicks are going to be kicking off this return to Cavendish. Really exciting.
The Blue Jays and MLSE, the major banks, and just a few minutes ago, the Toronto International Film Festival. Across our city, employers are stepping up with vaccine mandates, which is fundamentally about protecting not only their staff, but the community in which they serve and our city as a whole.
Well, I just think we're at a place where, look, I wish I knew what was going to happen to me 20 years down the road with this vaccine inside me, and I respect everybody's personal choice. But I think at the end of the day, all of us were wrong in our predictions. We've got to fight this thing with everything. It's very frightening now to see the impact of the Delta variant in the United States. Mm-hmm. It's frightening, to your point, to see protests, the battles between the governor of Florida and school teachers. It's interesting how every type of crisis in the world boils down to creating some sort of level of civil unrest.
That's 1 billion people.
So I have a question for you, and admittedly, when I first heard the headline of the campaign, I thought We the 15 was about what? I know what I'm going to tell, but what was your thinking when you heard that headline, We the 15?
Oh, I don't know. You've stumped me.
Well, for me, I thought it was 15 organizations getting together.
So I think it's one of the biggest human rights movements, and it's a beautiful thing. And I love the way they kind of totally repositioned what public perception is. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Sick Kids campaign, where you're making those children heroes. You're not feeling sorry for them. They're heroes. And in this case, it's, you know, stop putting us on a pedestal. We're ordinary people, and it's really beautiful. And
Mrs. Long, it might not be easy, but it'll be amazing. I can't wait to meet her.
Toyota, start your impossible.
That one gets me so hard.
Yeah, I mean, look, as a parent, it's amazing. And what I love about Toyota, again, I have nothing to do with it, is they've taken this platform of mobility and applied it in such a beautiful way to the Olympics and Paralympics.
Such a real way, and just giving a voice to the underrepresented. And the thing I love the most about the campaign, where they're offering sponsorship to every athlete, it's every athlete. So similar to what we just talked about with We the 15, you're not even making a hero out of one of them. They all have equal opportunity.
Yeah, I really think when the marketers in the audience today think about that We the 15 campaign, they really should take a look at their business. Think, okay, how do you latch on and become part of this global movement? And to your point, it can't just be in front of the camera on a poster and an ad, but what are you doing behind the camera? I even look at our own organization and say, what have we done proactively? We've worked with the Canadian Paralympic Committee for a long time. Have we actually gone and said to them, we actually specifically want to try to bring in a Paralympian? Brian Chesney, the founder of Airbnb, is actually digging into his own pocket. I read deep in this article to support this. Horrible situation. Do you think this is a good program? Do you think Airbnb is taking advantage of the situation, or do you applaud what they're doing?
I applaud what they're doing, and I've seen some of those nasty comments too, which you can appreciate where they're coming from. But it's also worth mentioning that Airbnb does do work in their own backyard with fire evacuees and COVID-19 frontline workers, and they are doing that. But how do you ignore this crisis right now? So I'm so glad they're shining a spotlight. And, you know, when you think about being a citizen, a Canadian citizen, and how fortunate we are, it's like, yes, we can donate. Yes, we can feel empathetic. Yes, we can spread the word, but you feel so helpless. And so brands that have the ability to make change and to call on action, I think I think they should be applauded for what they're doing.